Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, welcome back to the podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Making sure my audience is saying it. All right, this is as unbiased as I can make. Look, Cosmos hat, huh? Big fan. Personal, personal T-shirt. I'm not repping anybody here, but we are talking about Kujira. Sumo put it out. He said, "Hey, somebody should do like 3 or 4 of these videos a week and or a month, or I don't even remember what it was, and get paid." But I'm not asking for anything from the community fund. I just want to see that if it's going to get a little bit of traction, and I'm going to be doing this completely unbiased. All right, not a maxi. I do own some Kujira, not enough to really move any particular needle, but I want to give you my take and what is going on right now, because believe it or not, this is really really big picture stuff, and we will get to it right after this. So again, look, man, I got no particular dog in this fight. All right, I'm not really. I'm not the Kuji guy. I'm not him, because I think you guys made a couple fundamental errors along the way, and you're more or less paying for the price for it. Now, uh, the market is bearish. I mean, that's let's just admit it. It's not going really really well. And the problem with the Cosmos, and this is an overarching thing, is with the proof of stake, is that the costs are extreme with all of these L1s and all of these validator sets. And, everyone wants to build a chain. They don't just want to build an app. And all of these are costs that have to be paid. Empty blocks, validator sets, everything. These are all things that have to be paid. Now, Kujira, for what it's worth, did a pretty good job of insulating itself from osmosis. And what I mean by that, aside from there's the 3 month of Kujira, it's what you're doing, everybody else is doing right now, man. You're kind of bleeding out, but it's not your own personal fault. It's more or less. What kind of everything over here in the cosmos is doing, because customers have died out. All right, people are not transacting the way that they used to, and the ones that are doing it much smarter. Now, the thing that jammed you up, because Kujira itself, the token, does do a pretty good job of insulating itself from osmosis. The way an LP works is, let's pretend it's Kujira and Lavana is the pairing. I don't even know if that pairing exists. I got a hunch it does. As Lavana continues to decline in value, Kujira on the other side is going to be liquidated to become Lavana, so that the pool stays balanced. Now, normally that's fine, because these things take noticeable swings one side or the other. Something's going up, something's going down. But the problem is that these pairing tokens are constantly going down. So your Kujira is constantly getting liquidated to become Lavana, which continues to go down. And it is pretty much across the board. It doesn't really matter what token. Everybody's in a rush just to get their token out. And that's understandable, because most of these tokens do nothing at all. They are simply new. They're fresh. Buy it, hype it. Get the influencers talking about it, and off it goes. But then people start to realize that the emperor has no clothes. This is not something for me, and they're going to bail. And when they bail, these tokens are still very very inflationary, or they are maintaining a really really big validator set. So the cost, I'm sorry, people buying them continues to go down, but the costs don't change. They are still kicking out tokens. They are still inflating. They are still doing all of these things that you just shouldn't do right now. The problem is that Kujira is paired with most of these. So it is not necessarily a Kujira issue, it is an everything else issue. And I do have kind of high hopes for Kujira, in the fact that they are their own animal. The same way that I have that kind of faith over in Astrovault, because they are their own animal. They're not heavily paired with osmosis. They're not heavily paired with so many of these descending tokens. But Kujira has a shocking, shocking amount of pairings out there, and they're just not real good. Now, some of the things that they did do well are pairing something like Lavana with, I don't know, anything else, anything but the Dex token. So they're doing well doing that, keeping those things isolated, keeping that we're here. If you want to perform a transaction, you can do it, but we're not going to pair our token against it. So they're doing okay on that, but they're not doing tremendous on that. There is still a lot of it out there. And every time you pair with a token, you pair your DEX token with a token that is listed on 15 other places, you assume some of the costs of all of those other places. So you're paying for other L1s, you are paying for other DEXs, you're paying for other things, but you're not getting any of the return on those because these things are descending everywhere. So if Kujira could do one thing that would really get me back in there, man, it would be to further isolate yourself. Dump these bad tokens. Just get them off your deck. Stick with what works. Stick with smart pairing. Stick with tokens that are not going to beat the hell out of you, that you're going to get no value capture out of, and stay with the things that work. Now, this could be a complete gross misunderstanding on my part. I have just a couple of these that I set up during live streams. Now, this one right here, and again, this could be me just simply not understanding this or how it works or using the decks correctly because it is a confusing deck. I've had that pool right there. Not a whole hell of a lot. I'm staked $261. I've been in there for about a month and a half. Now, if I'm understanding this right, and help me out if I'm not, uh, but I've earned zero, absolutely nothing on that stake in almost 4 to 6 weeks. I've earned $0, nothing, not even dust. So that could be a misunderstanding on my part. I simply don't understand how this dex works, or nobody has participated over in that pool. That there's just no action in there whatsoever. So if you guys could clear that up for me, I'd appreciate it, and I'll mention it on video number 2. But aside from that, aside from the big picture that seems to be kind of kicking your ass right now, uh, it's you're still doing solid. I would eliminate a lot of those pairings. I would start bringing your token home. You're gonna have to circle the wagons right now, and this goes for effectively everybody. You are going to have to insulate yourself, or you're going to continue to eat the dump that's happening everywhere out here. Kujira can do that. That's one of the ones that can. So anyway, that's it, man. Unbiased, my personal take. That's all I got on this one, man. So if you guys got any questions or comments, scott at thepodcast.com. I answer any and all of them. And until next time, please stay safe and please be smart with your money. Cheers.